Hey guys, so today I wanted to take the time to talk about mouths. I don't know why specifically, but I remember seeing one of my super old just character drawing help tutorial references. I don't know, but it was just a long compilation of posing and faces and hair, mouths, just different ways to express through the eyes, eyebrows, and the mouths. And I feel like just mouths are the most fun to play around with, and not to say that in a weird way at all. I That's just what I want to focus in on today, and I've drawn out some two views, a 3/4 and a front. Just your most generic views that you would ever have when you're doodling, sketching, or even to out there industrial printed work, So what I wanted to focus on today are just ranging from happy, sad to talking. I already drew out some mouths and I'll go into each one. I don't want to make this overcomplicated. I don't want to make this, the one and only mouth reference video. But what I want to focus on today is exactly where you have to work around with, the type of ways that you can stylize mouths or make them pretty much move, So what I focus on pretty much is just with this horizontal line right here that I draw on the face when I'm sketching stuff out, and that is the space that I give myself to draw mouths. I pretty much stay right within the eyes, so it's just this little section right here. But, I just immediately do this and it goes super chibi. So I'm going to start off with happy. And this is pretty much the shape that I start out with in all of my happy mouths because it's just upturned. You're pushing your cheeks up. It's turning up. And sometimes it can get way too Joker crazy, Sometimes you could just be pretty simple like that. Or an even smaller mouth, So I sketched out this one, which is the type of style that I've been working with recently. Just some thick lines and present the lips in the most simplest way possible. I don't really like to draw a dip in the lips like this, just because it's not something that I'm used to doing. But I do like closing it out pretty much like a Kim Possible style. And the way that I like to draw my teeth as well is just that swoop. That swoop right there. I don't put in the individual lines because I don't feel like it matches my style. It looks more like gorillas, which isn't bad at all, It's just your preference of how you like to present things. And what I do like to do is just go in here in black or put some shading so make that part thicker to show that the lips are covering over the teeth, I also like to thin this middle line out when you're showing that it's a smile, just so that it's just beaming out, There we go. Now the next mouth that I did was a almost like happy, talking, excited mouth showing teeth and tongue. This is pretty much as far as I take it. And when I go in here, it's just the fill color and then the shading all the way in the back, right? That's pretty much it. But again, you could go in with that wraparound teeth that you see in a bunch of like anime or more realistic style. You could put the bottom teeth as well. I just don't like to put that in. And another thing that I forgot to mention was these little dips up here. I like showing that the cheeks are being pushed up, and even if I do get to the eyes, which would be an entirely different video on its own, you push that up as well and close it in a bit so that it looks like all of this space is pushing up. Look at that. Pretty much like SpongeBob logic right there. That's another way that I draw. And this is where I put in the lips. No matter what your style is, you can definitely do it. I also don't like to pull in that dip or the filth room in there. But of course, if you like to do that in your style, go right ahead. I love asymmetry in my work. As you can see, I just like that. I feel like it feels a bit more natural, and it's something that I'm used to from doing at work at this point. But you could definitely just make it full on symmetrical if you want as well. Like, there's no harm in it at all. As long as you like how it looks, go right ahead. So yeah, pretty much all of my smiles match this rule right here. You go in there, you go in there, you go in there. It's just got that upwards swoop because you're smiling. There's no harm in looking at references and going into the mirror and seeing how your mouth looks when you're happy. Like, there's really no harm. Now, the next emotion I want to go into is sad. Oh, even this is like, I would play around with this, but it's too extreme for me. The two things that I do like to keep in my art are these little notches, I guess, to show the skin is being pushed down, you know? And going off of that, there's a big old frowny face. Now, I did include the lip that I've been loving to do recently. Pretty much downturn. Also, the asymmetry, pushing to the side. I just love doing that. And here's just a sad-ish or gasp mouth. I don't know. I try to put these in scenarios. So if you're doing comics or you want to do storyboarding or you just want to capture whatever emotion for the illustration you're doing, references. Definitely. Remember, all of these are just turned down, pushing down on the face right here. And again, super simple teeth, tongue, you know? Or you don't even have to show the tongue. Look at this. It's gone. That's more of a gasp if anything. Now the next one is a bit more complicated. Again, if you're doing animation, storyboarding, you want to learn how to do these things, or you want to show dialogue in just a single drawing, go off with your smiles or your frowns. Even lower that opacity so that you know how far you want to push it with each character, right? So here's a much more stylized way than I like to draw anything, but much more angular and sharp with a bit of a curve up there. And again, my asymmetry. And this little dip right here, if your style includes that. On this one, it's just a much more simple mouth that I wanted to draw in. I kind of teeter in between those. Here's my super simple teeth and tongue lines, and you could even add some Steven Universe lips up there, which I feel like after drawing so much Steven Universe art, I have lost my sense of what lips look like. So I pretty much just draw like these little bubble Princess Peach lips, full on, almost yell, and much more kind of dynamic, realistic-y looking, you know. Here's that teeth wraparound that I don't do in my work, but again, if you do, go right ahead. Some indication of lips up here, or even to push the lip forward to look like it's really talking. Whoa. Now this is going into referencing mouth charts. Now at work, I pretty much do the mouth charts of different characters, and I go into the A, E, D, O, U, S, and etc. Every time I say those, I like fully move around my mouth so that I can feel what it's doing to my cheeks, what, you know, how thin the lips are getting, or what emphasis I'm putting on what. So definitely references. Mirror photos of yourself saying whatever help. And animation mouth charts are fantastic. I loved seeing those. Those were my favorite things in any art book, because it just keeps pushing, you know, the whole face. And it's crazy what you could do with a bunch of lines. Like, it's so cool. Next one, again, this is just like an E shape or just like super like, oh yikes kind of reaction. The teeth are definitely stretched out, and even when you go in, actually, let's do something fun. Can I cover this? Yes. All right. I'm gonna cover that. Man, there you go. She moves. So if you can tell, I feel like another thing that really helps with this stuff, keep your lips or mouths in like the same range so that you're not, exaggerating things or putting it up there. This is pretty much just a hot tip when it comes to animation. Nothing particularly for character design unless you are doing like, or you want to keep consistent, Yeah, look at that. I could add some frames, easily just animate that. Moving on. That's just an F mouth, but a lip biting thing. This is just a silly whatever mouth I put in here. I pretty much just keep it insanely simple. And an O. You could show teeth or the tongue, or just cover this completely. Yeah. And I could do that thing too. There we go. Crazy. Even I'm surprised. I don't know. It impresses me. No, it surprises me every time. Like, it's so much fun to mess around with. Okay, so I'm going to be laying these out all against each other so that you guys can see the variety that you can get when you follow these tips. These aren't really rules. I don't want to put on mouth drawing rules. I just want to give you ideas of what you can do and the different types of mouths you can have. Right now, I am staring at my Osamatsu and Joker and Zelda Nendroids, and they all have different mouths to fit the characters, and they all work. They're expressive. They're either really long or small, more realistic looking, or just completely stylized. There's a variety of ways you can do this. I know that this is more of like a, here are some like flashcards of tips to take, and yeah, that's all I got. If you do want to get anatomically correct with this stuff, go into YouTube and look up like references of somebody talking, look up of somebody smiling. If you are animating, definitely look at that stuff, because it really, really helps you get the fundamental rules in when you're making the mouth move or what emotion you want to come across. Here's an extra one, a scream. Let's actually change these eyebrows. I'm just gonna go into with the if you guys hear that animal, definitely tell me what type of animal it is. I want to get into just the 3Q head. So this is just super anime. Just dead stare in the middle, right? Oh man, another part of the face that I really love are eyes as well. Alright, so there we go. Now what we can do is pretty much stretch that. Now again, I push this a bit too forward, but you can just put it back. This looks like she's laughing. This is like an Azula face, because it's like upturned, but you can definitely just make that into like a crazy laugh or frown. I like doing like that. This looks like she's super offended. Like a super just gasp reaction. So yeah, guys, there is a variety of ways that you can draw this, and have fun with it. Definitely, if you need to write down, the exact emotion that you need to come across over here, or pull up references on the side, definitely do that. Yeah, that's all I got for you guys. I'm sorry that this is super quick and super simple, but I hope that this helps. I definitely want to get into eyes and eyebrows in the next video, and I also want to come out with just some super fun character design, just random color palette stuff. I need video ideas. You guys have been so sweet and subscribing and commenting and watching my videos, but when I come up here, I go into the mess of like, I want to do tip videos, I want to do speed paints, but there's nothing that I'm really into right now to do a full-on drawing for. So if just tips and challenges help, then I will definitely get these out more. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you do take on these tips and you drew something, link it down below. I would love to see your work. I would love to see what you're doing, and yeah, I'm open to following you guys and seeing your stuff too. So yeah, stay safe and take care, guys. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.